friends, Amber Stormberg here with Dear Life, Business and Beyond. I'm here with Sabrina Pflug with Peach and the Willow. She's a designer here in Franklin. Tell them a little bit about yourself, Sabrina.
Thank you, Amber. So
Absolutely.
happy to be here with my friend. I am a designer in Franklin, Tennessee. Honestly, born out of a blog about 7 years ago. I've had a thread of design throughout my life, but during this chapter, it was born out of a blog, and it just, as things will do in business, it morphed. It's funny, I was talking the other day with my son, and it's interesting that so many of today's business models start with sort of giving things away, right? Mm-hmm. Giving content away, that sort of piece. And unbeknownst to me, I was sort of doing that model, not necessarily thinking about it as a pure business model, but it turned out to work that way for me. It turned into a little bit of a following, and then folks like you would hire me based on the content or based on word of mouth, really.
Yeah.
And it just grew, and so I've got a bustling little business right now in 2021.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Sabrina and I have worked together for 7 years,
yes.
Since the beginning
since
of your
the beginning.
Since the birth of your
I'm
business.
So grateful. I really credit you for so much of the launch of it. I really do, because you shared so much of my work with your clients and online pieces, and so I'm grateful to you.
I'm grateful to you. We had our office here. You actually designed and made everything so beautiful here at our office in the very beginning, and you're going to design the next one, which I'm super excited about. We're going to be moving offices, and I get so many people that walk in and ask, you know, the light fixture. We have a light fixture downstairs that looks like a spider, and I wasn't a huge fan of it in the beginning. It's so funny because that's how people kind of morph into why a designer is so important. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today is how the kind of hidden myth of designers. And people think, well, I can't afford one because they're all, you know, so expensive, or you know, how do you put that all together?
Right.
And one of my ways of doing things is I get the core pieces, the furniture, the things that I love, and then I just say, come make it beautiful. Yeah. And you have done the most amazing things for me that I never would have picked for myself.
Thank you.
Yeah, so talk about that a little bit more.
Thank you. Well, it's your willingness to create with me, too. That brings up, there's a couple of questions in there, I feel like. There's not really one cookie cutter way for me to design for a client. There's just really, it can go in so many different directions. So the first thing you do is really listen to the needs. So for instance, you came and you said, I enjoy picking out some of the pieces. That's that part I like, but I don't want to put it all together. And so it's important for any designer to really listen to the client. Really in business, you've got to listen to the client and kind of meet them where they are. And if there's any talent that I have, I think that business-wise, beyond creating a pretty room, it's listening to the client. Because if you don't, in every regard, in the design and how they live and how much they want to spend, you really will miss. So it's important to have those initial conversations. And then from that, absolutely do not be afraid to hire a designer, especially after you've interviewed them. I mean, I think there's a fit there, don't you, with business and with design? You want to sort of jive, and personalities kind of be cohesive. But that said, you are able to, or at least I am, to tailor make what I provide to a client based on their needs. It really, I'm working with about 15 different clients right now. Wow. That's too many for one person, but I do time manage fairly well. But that sounds like a lot for one person, and it is, but they're all at different levels of design. Some are full-blown renovations for the entire house. Some are, I just need a little vignette done. Today I have a meeting, it's strictly about light fixtures. They had bought a starter home and they didn't enjoy any fixture in the house. So we're going to, talk through that. So they're all different. Don't be afraid of pricing, because I think you come to an interior designer, or at least someone like me, because we all do work differently, but you say, this is my budget. And if that's your comfort zone, then I'm able to tell you, well, here's what we can do within that. Same as your budget probably for a home. Here's where we can look. So you set those expectations. I think the other thing, and the other part of your question, was the spider sort of chandelier. So meet people where they are with design. I look around their homes. I look at the way they live currently. I ask how they entertain. I ask how they recreate or lounge. Take all of those pieces, look at the pieces they already have, because you kind of know what their comfort zone is with that, right? And then I nudge them to go beyond that. Because really, why do you hire a designer? It's to do the things that maybe you can't or won't do, right? So that's the fun part, is seeing them go a little pushback, oh, and I'm like, trust me. And when your relationship is good, and trust is a big word with design, knowing that I'm not going to go beyond where they're comfortable, but I'm going to push them, that's when there's a little bit of magic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you've done it to me many a times.
I love that
The
we're
big
able
reveal.
to do that, though, right? Like, I'll say, Amber, I brought a paper for you to see today, because we
Yay!
enjoy
I love
seeing the
wallpaper.
new things, right?
Love wallpaper.
And there's so many just creative companies out there all over the world. We're not just looking in the States. I'm buying papers from all over. And but it's fun to get into that process with someone and kind of get those juices flowing, and so I love what I do. So it's
Well,
fun
and that's
to see
why you
people
do so well at it.
Thank you.
And
I
it
love
just comes natural to you. It really does.
Many things do.
Yeah.
I work greatly at a lot of specific, pieces still. I mean, I think we're all growing and evolving, and I'm still learning a great deal. But the aesthetic part of it, the just kind of knowing, I think, is just sort of a gift.
It's a gift, absolutely.
And I'm grateful.
Absolutely, and you are, and you're just so good at it. And that's where I am. We were talking earlier about you being so great in your lane and your design, and Sabrina also is an amazing cook and a singer and so many things that you're amazing at. And where I'm great at thinking about businesses and keeping and I think the communication piece is also very, very key in everything. I mean, relationships with your spouse or significant other, your children, your clients. I mean, everything is about, I can have a conversation with my clients and say, Sabrina is amazing, and they trust me. It's about trust at every level. Trust with their largest asset. Trust with the design of their house and their comfort. I mean, your home is your home, and everybody wants their home to be beautiful.
Yes.
And so whether it's a pillow or a lamp or anything, and being outside of that comfort zone is definitely sometimes not always easy, but it's fun in the end.
Yes. Well,
It's fun in the end.
It takes recognizing that. It takes knowing that is what you said. The home is the refuge, right? And it is where we do life, most life. And, this whole business of mine, from the beginning, I mean, when I was in my 20s, yes, I was singing and doing these other things, but this has always been like a thread that has run through my life that I've made businesses out of, whether they're side businesses or whether they became the business. And I just think that when people are happy in their home, they are happy in life. They thrive. And it's because life is happening there, and I feel like their businesses flourish outside of their home. Their families are happy. They want to welcome others in. My mission statement is about stylish homes, creating stylish homes, enjoying delicious food, and having friends to share all of that.
And you're a great entertainer.
Well, thank you. But again, it revolves around family and home. It comes back to the home, and how I want to encourage my clients, my friends, to open up their home. And I think, believe it or not, you want to open it up more if you're, happiest in it. You're comfortable in it. You think it looks kind of the way your vision is for it,
Absolutely. Well, you want people to come in, at least I know I do, and feel like they're welcome and it's a comfortable place for them to be.
The biggest compliment that I've ever gotten, and I've gotten it several times, is when my friends or even strangers come into my home and they say, wow, it's pretty, but it's so comfortable. That's done. That's what I want.
And that's what I think a lot of people want. Mm-hmm. You want it to look, I mean, I've gone into homes before where it feels like a museum, and you're like,
yes,
do I sit on the chair?
Yes.
No, I want the 2-year-old to be able to come in and thrive just as well as the 50-year-old.
Yes,
or
and
whoever,
that is, again, meeting people where they are. Where are they in life right now? What is important? Because, again, as designers, we think about that function. as well as how it's going to be beautiful. You know, I'm designing several homes right now for families that have little children, and it absolutely is a consideration. Animals, absolutely a consideration. You know, how you design for animals. And then just different phases of your life, and then how that will continue to sort of patina over the years so that you're not changing it all in 7 years, 10 years, whatever you want. I want there to be a classicism through it all too, as much as I love the new trends. I like to make sure that we're going to enjoy this for the long term.
Absolutely.
So again, that probably comes with a little bit of, honestly, age, having done it for a while. It's like we get so enamored with the new, and I still do too, and I want to inject it in. But what about this is classic? Is it the architecture? Is it this antique that we purchased? You know, just keeping that nice balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you give somebody a tip, like if they wanted to get started and didn't know where to start? What is some advice you could give somebody to start?
Honestly, just to start. But this is you've heard this so many times by many designer types or bloggers or whatever. Is make a dream board. Like that's just make it. Like whether it's Pinterest, whether it's an old-fashioned poster board up in your house, whether it's a little folder that you keep, just start making notes, tearing things. This is kind of what I love. And then you ask yourself what, and there's sort of risk reward, right? How much can I spend to be rewarded with this piece or this beautiful thing that I want to create? And can I do it? And then just seek out. I mean, honestly, there are so many online services. If you can't seek out someone in person to sort of help you, there's so many online services that can. In our world of digital media, my Instagram feed is just like my favorite magazine in the whole world because I've curated all these different retail outlet, businesses, designers, artists, whatever, and you can just start kind of copying little elements of it, right? I want to do that, so maybe I can use paint. Speaking of that, if you want to dive into any change in your life and make something pretty instantly, paint something, right?
Yeah.
Paint is the instant gratification.
And it's the easiest thing to do.
And it's inexpensive.
Yes.
Especially if you put a little sweat equity into it and do it yourself, right?
Yee.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Those days are over.
Those are jumping off points.
Those days are
Sadly,
done.
I'm a really good painter, and my husband is always like, because I have a ton of painters in my phone, and he's like, but don't you want to do that? I'm like, thanks. Because I love to cut in.
Oh,
I
man.
love it. Like weirdo.
Other days of my life that
Yeah.
not these
You don't
days.
have time, darling.
I don't have time.
No.
No. That is it's about time management.
You do
But I
have a line of painters that will
Francisco is
come.
amazing. Francisco's worked with me for 10 years, and
Yes.
he's amazing. I love
Yes.
him. And that's the other thing, resources like vendors. Like we share a lot of the vendors.
Yes.
And
my favorite electrician.
I know, Jackie Moore. We love Jackie. He's
Yes.
the best ever.
Yes.
And so Jackie and I have worked together, and that's the other thing that you don't see when kind of the behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of behind the scenes in my work that I do for my clients that they never even know happens.
Wow.
And there's so much in yours, like just sourcing the vendors
Yes.
is 95% of the battle. So it is well worth every penny to source the electrician, the wallpaper hanger, the painter, the framer, the this, that. Guys, I mean, if there's any value in Sabrina, not only her design, but also her sourcing. When you have a vision and you want to put it to life, especially if you're busy or have things going on, like that can consume you.
Yes. And it can be overwhelming and it can frustrate you because what we do best when we are installing what we've designed is now you've lined up what you just said and it's just going to go like clockwork, or as much as clockwork with construction can go. There's always little hitches and hiccups and things, but it is a part of our job, or at least I feel like it's mine, to make sure I see that vision through. And if that means I'm on the horn, like where's A, B, or C craftsman, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
There's a tremendous value in that people don't really realize in putting all of it together. I know that in the beginning I would get kind of paralyzed analysis paralysis is what I call it. I mean, wallpaper. Let's talk about that. I love wallpaper, but you could look at 100,000 things, wallpaper, and I did for hours, and then I called Sabrina finally, and she came over with 6, and I said, okay, I like this one.
Yes.
And she narrowed it down, and that alone, when you quantify your hourly rate, like how many hours did I spend looking at wallpaper online?
Thank you for saying that.
Yes,
right.
I mean, it's just so worth it.
Yeah.
And I've learned the hard way. Trust me, I've learned it the hard way. And now it's just like, please, Sabrina, put me on your schedule and, come over and,
I want to brag on you on a way that you do business with me. And we haven't even talked about this, so you may be hearing this for the first time. Speaking of valuable, people ask many times, what's the best scenario for client and designer? What's your best case scenario? And you are my best case scenario. Let me tell you why. And this is a little bit of homework. So when you're saying, where do I start? It's a little bit of planning and preparation, right? The more you know about what you want, the better the result will be. And the more we as in designers, can really fulfill a dream. So you come to me and you'll say, Sabrina, I have these 5 pieces and maybe a chandelier. Like, let's just say it like that. And then here's my budget, and I need it by next Thursday. It doesn't matter how wild that time frame. I'm just joking.
No,
that might be
you're
you.
True. I needed it yesterday.
But that clear definition of your needs is so important. And you must agree with that with any business move. Like when there's clear definition of what the expectation is, and then on installation day, Amber comes in and she usually loves it, which is a good thing, but she may even, then we'll go further. Ooh, don't we need a pillow there or go? And we keep tweaking, and then that's where we create, and it's that synergy. But you're the dream client, really, because you spell out your expectations.
I know about enough to be dangerous, and then I give you the tightest budget ever because I'm the cheapest ever, and that's just how I roll. So I'm always like, I know Sabrina's like, oh god, here we go.
How pretty are the results though?
Oh, amazing!
Because we get creative with the budget, and so but back to expectations. If you show me Architectural Digest, and then you give me a budget for the he/she shed or what I don't know, then we have to manage expectations with anything in life.
Yeah.
But it is fun to be able to create. That's where the best creativity comes, is with a little bit of a challenge.
I love to give you a challenge for sure. Mm-hmm. So how can people find you?
Ooh, good question.
And you have a blog, as you stated in the beginning. So if somebody wants to go online and follow you, because Sabrina has design and food, and I will tell one little last tidbit about Miss Sabrina. She has a Christmas brunch every year and invited me, and it was amazing as always. Table set, beautiful, beautiful, and she made this most amazing shrimp and grits that is to die for, and this creme brulee French toast, and just this whole amazing spread, and now I make that every year for my family for Christmas, and my kids love it, and it's our brunch for Christmas. And I've done it now probably 4 years in a row.
That's awesome.
And I now have a whole little thing that I've done for my kids, and hopefully I can keep this tradition. And that's the energy and the ambiance that Sabrina brings to the table. Is not only is she amazing just as a person, but that home that you bring to your relationships and design and food and everything. It's just so amazing.
Thank you. So, well, it's great to hear your cooking and using that recipe. It's not mine. It's a Besh recipe, but I love it too. Yeah. How do they find me? So peachandthewillow.com is my blog. I hate to apologize in advance, but I've been so busy and with COVID that the content could be a little bit more refreshed right now, but you can see some pretty things and some great party ideas. And then more up to the date is probably my Instagram, is Peach and the Willow as well. And it's not an ampersand, it's A&D, Peach and the Willow. And of course, you can email me on my website, peachandthewillow.com. There's a spot to email and get in touch with me that way. So all the contact information is there.
And you can contact me.
Oh, love it.
And I can get you in touch with Sabrina if you want to consult with her or have questions or whatever it may be. So Sabrina, let's talk a little bit about our relationship began in staging homes. Yep. So I am a huge component of getting your home ready for market, even in the market that we're in today, with multiple offers and well over ask price offers. I am definitely still staging, packing. I guess in my listing appointment, I always tell my clients it's the 50% rule to start. So what I always tell them is take away 50% of what's in the house, pack it up, get rid of it, do whatever you're going to do with it, 50%. And then we keep the same pieces. And I'll tell you, I do a lot of my staging now because you are busy, a little bit busier with design clients. But I learned so much from you in the beginning on how to fluff and do and change. And you still, when there's certain projects that I need you to come in, you still come in and help me. And so let's talk a little bit about getting your home ready for market.
Okay, yeah, it is huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love your 50% rule because that's basically what I go in and you and I walk through and we're like, yeah, we're going to have to edit a little bit, and we usually always agree on that. Because I think that potential buyer just wants to see a clean, fresh, start. They want to see themselves in the home. So we depersonalize it a little bit, right? And then sometimes you and I change furniture around, change configurations. So the value in having a professional eye come in that moment is showing your home in its absolute best light, right? And so we're so connected to it as owners when we've been living there for however ABC years that we're comfortable the way it is, and we sometimes don't see what others see. So I think it's fantastically valuable to have another set of eyes, yours, basically, and then when you bring on a stager, that they also just add to that conversation. We edit, right? Or we even add to sometimes. Maybe a certain furnishing doesn't show very well. Maybe we need a certain artwork that's going to bring a little excitement to a room. We bring elements of styling, which, how many times have we gone to the client's cupboards and said, can we use this, or this, right? So because we're so visual as an online kind of consumer now, and you said this, I need my pictures to be awesome because the first eyeballs that are going to see the house are going to be online. Am I pretty much right?
97% of people buy their house online.
Yeah. So the goal, whether it fits your lifestyle or not, is for your home to sort of be magazine ready.
That's right.
That's just where we live now. That visual is just super important, and so that's where the professional eye really gives you that edge. And then you determine based on honestly budget or kind of what the selling price of the house is, how many rooms get staged properly. Sometimes you just want to make sure the public areas are really knocked out of the park, and bedrooms can kind of be left, but. It really is. That's based, on lots of factors that you could weigh in on, like where the home is located. Help me, there's lots of ways that we determine how much staging or how little staging.
Well, and also listening to the client, what you said earlier. I go into the listing appointment. And I think we've worked really, really well together in the sense that sometimes, I'm there to sell their house and I'm going to give them, and I always say, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to talk about all of it. And sometimes removing myself from that process is also tremendous value because it keeps the relationship with my client by allowing you to come in and say, especially if they're really tied to certain pieces, I love the way you just framed that a while ago when you said edit, where I'm saying, take it away. You're softer sometimes than me. And I'm there to do a job. I'm there to sell their house for the most amount of money and get result, in the shortest amount of time. You're there to help me make it look beautiful. And, that's a very, very personal process, especially when people have been living in their home for a long time and they think that this antique vase is the best thing that they, the great grandmother gave it to them or whatever, and it's really thrown the whole room off.
Right.
And we have those conversations, and the way that and the way that I add value is with you, and you add value to me. I don't charge my clients for your service. It's part of my service. And that relieves a tremendous amount of stress because I think one of the also things about, even hiring a real estate agent is, there's going to be fee, and there's not. You know, it's that added value. How can I bring value? And I think in this market today with the digital age, as we've talked about, you cannot take away the personalization of what we do.
Right.
You just can't.
Right.
Zillow, and I'm not supposed to be quoting them, whoever it may be, they just can't take away that piece. And I can guarantee you, even with multiple offers, you're going to get a higher price if you have the home ready for market, even in today's market.
Yes.
Period.
How about another part of it, just to take, you know, all of the thinking out of the process for the potential client when they come into a house, and let's just say there's an odd room, an odd setup, an odd angle, and you want to take away, and what a professional will do is find the best way to outfit that room or organize that room, lay out that room. You want to take all the doubt away from the potential buyer. Oh, I don't know about that house because that weird wall. Right. Well, we're going to take that weird wall out of the conversation because it's not going to be weird anymore.
And we've done that.
Yes.
We have done that many of times,
Yes.
because what people see is what they see.
That's right.
They cannot, majority of
That's
the
right.
buyers cannot see past what is in front of them.
Yes, it doesn't
Period.
matter how much we say, but you can do this. No, they visually need to witness it.
Well, and then there's a lot of agents out there that cannot cast that vision. Like, I mean, we've gone in and house, like, guys, this is a great buy. This is a great investment. Trust me when I say this. We paint this, you know, it's bright orange walls, and the seller, the agent hasn't advised the seller properly, and you go into these houses and I'm like, gosh, this house has so much potential. I've even brought you in on those kind of deals.
Yes.
Like, come in and let's make this house shine after the fact.
Yes.
And because they did not paint that orange wall, gives me the opportunity to negotiate more.
So there again.
And a $300 paint job could have probably made them thousands of dollars more.
Perfect example.
I mean, your
Perfect.
return on investment is so much greater. I've even paid for staging and things and painting and done that for clients that couldn't do it because I knew that they were going to get a bigger return if we did it.
You're great at what you do. Time and time again, it takes a lot of guesswork out of the. As a client, you know, when your client that's selling, they want to get top dollar. So in most cases, they are going to relinquish all of this over to a professional, which is you, and then you may call on a designer. But yeah, you want your potential buyers to come in and just boom, let's go, let's write the contract. So
Well, and multiples of those.
Yeah.
It makes all the difference in the world, even in this crazy market that we're in right now, because I can give you time after time that it makes a difference.
Yes.
And it's amazing working when you have a good team put together
Yes.
for them. So what else do you have to elaborate on stage? I know that a lot of times fresh white towels, that's always Sabrina's signature.
Isn't that funny? Well, that's a good tip. This is a good tip for anyone that's selling, and maybe they're doing some of this themselves. I always think luxury hotel when I look at a bathroom. Just what do you love? Or hotel. I mean, gosh, it doesn't have to be luxury, but I do enjoy luxury hotels because they have amazing bathrooms usually. I get so many design tips from traveling and staying in hotels. But the fresh white towel, piece component is super important for me because it exudes at least a nice clean start. And just, again, edit that bathroom, take all those rugs off the floor, boom, they're out. And just make it super streamlined.
Less is more.
Streamline that bathroom, yes. Get all the totchkey out of the niches in the shower. You're going to do it anyway for pictures.
Yep.
But for showings too, just make it, more like a high-end hotel. And
less is more. I say 50% and then less is more. You cannot get rid of enough stuff.
Yeah.
In my house, it's just as guilty. Less is more.
Yeah.
I'm working on that now. It's a work in progress of 20 years of, you just live.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, I've got baskets of stuff that I haven't seen in years. And clients sometimes are like, oh gosh, I got to pack up all, but it's always better when we get ready to move because 50% or more of your home is packed up.
Yes, exactly. So you're ahead of the game.
You're ahead of the game.
Yes.
Stuff is already put up.
Yes.
No stress, no worry.
Perfect.
And then when you only have to pack up 50% or less, then you're like, wow, this was easy.
Yeah.
And it makes the process less stressful. And I can guarantee you, I've got some clients we're working with right now that they have been packing and working for 3.5 weeks. Okay. And they live in a very communal neighborhood where they know all their neighbors. They were on the board of the planning board. Like, they know a lot of people, so people are going to want to come into their home. And so they want their home to shine because they want it to be a reflection of them. So it's not just about selling the home as it is also making your home showcase of you.
It is
when
an
people come
absolute
in.
extension, 100%. Again, back to our conversation about listening to people. It's not my home. I mean, I'm putting a little stamp on it for my clients, but it's their home. I want it to express them. And in their best, like, again, in their dream of what they want it to be. Because again, if they had been able to do it, they would have done it themselves. So it's a little bit of probably psychology, pulling different pieces out.
It's a lot of psychology.
It's a lot of psychology.
Yeah.
And I love working with husbands and wives because there's different weigh-in and different value on one as there is the other, and just finding that common ground. I think they enjoy the process together. It's very interesting. You'll find, because again, back to a happy home, happy life. If the wife, let's say, buys a beautiful sofa, but it's not the comfort level that the husband enjoys, they're not gonna be simpatico. He's gonna be like, oh, she got what she wanted, but I don't love it. There is common ground with design. I promise there is. I mean, I find it all the time. And I'll send an email to the husband. Is this too modern for you? Or, to make sure that we're finding the sweet spot.
Well, husbands want 2 cents as well.
Absolutely.
Majority of them.
Absolutely.
And listen, hiring you could be a very inexpensive way for therapy, honestly. Really. I mean, because I've seen it time and time again, and you have one view and you have another, and
there's that middle mediator,
it's the
designer.
Mediator. Listen, everybody needs a coach.
Yes.
Whether it's business, whether it's life, whether it's whatever it may be,
yes.
A professional that knows better than you is so important.
Isn't it important, like when you said, you tell them the good, bad, and the ugly, or I don't know if I'm getting that right, but you're able, what's so cool about being in the center of a design triangle with two people like that is this person that wants something dramatic and wild, and this one person that wants something a little bit down the middle. I'm able to tell why this works or why this works, and then I find it happen all the time. Because I can articulate it in design language that they understand, they are able to come together and they go, I see it time and time again. Oh, I get that. I wouldn't have thought of that. Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. Well, that's why you have a professional. Is that what I am?
Yeah, you are a professional. Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you. You add tremendous value to so many lives around you. I appreciate you taking your time to come here and spend it with me and share your tidbit to everybody.
Love it.
Online. So how can people find you? Tell them a little bit more about that.
So I can be found on peachandthewillow.com. That's my blog site, but it has different tabs. So Nest is more of the homes, Gatherings is more of gatherings, food, etc. And then there's a place for contacts on there. So find me that way. And then Instagram, I kind of more content is refreshed on Instagram more often. So Peach and the Willow on Instagram.
And it's A-N-D.
A-N-D,
okay.
not ampersand.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining us at Dear Life, Business and Beyond. And thank you again, Sabrina, for Peach and the Willow. You can find her online on Instagram. And you can find us online at stormberggroup.com. Thank you again so much, and you guys have a wonderful day.